very good morning, everyone. Welcome to Campus Ministry Personality Development. This webinar will focus on a very important topic, life online. Let me begin with the famous opening lines from the historical novel, A Tale of Two Cities. Quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was a season of darkness. It was a spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period." Unquote. A group of high school friends had a telephonic conference call inquiring about one another, their life online, and how others were coping with the pandemic situation. One student said, "Even before COVID-19, the pandemic started ravaging the world, our family started living life online. I would play games online most of the time. My father would be completely engrossed in his laptop, and my mother would buy vegetables online." The second one said, "It has been like a long holiday for me. There is no one to rush me on doing my daily activities." Another boy said, "Teachers would always ask me to sit straight whenever I leaned towards the desk. I could never sit in class the way I liked. Thanks to COVID-19, now that the camera can be turned off, I keep fidgeting around on sofa, sometimes even lie down on bed and attend online classes." As other boys were eagerly waiting to hear, the last one, trying his best to hide his emotions from his friends as his eyes were filled with tears, spoke, "I have lost both my parents to COVID." Dear participants, the pandemic has taught us many life lessons, caused many irreparable damages and losses, provided us with an opportunity for realization, taught us to care for one another, spend time together as a family, and many more. Before we proceed further, I invite Ms. Jayabharati to lead us to God through prayer.
Now is the confidence that we have in Him that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. Loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you have given us. We offer before you our school, the management, the teaching, non-teaching staff, the students and their families, so that they may do your holy will at all times. We pray for your guidance and protection. Lead us in the right direction to achieve valuable knowledge, wisdom, and experience. During this pandemic, give us the open mind to understand the given situation calmly and peacefully. Bless all the people around the world with good health and wellness. Gracious God, we humbly seek your mighty blessing over this webinar and our speaker, Mrs. J.C. George. May our students be inspired and benefit by the informations and ideas that our speaker is about to share. We realize, Lord, that there is a change to the path, but the goal remains the same. Thank you for helping us to accept the online life, a new approach to reach our destined goal. These graces we ask you in your unending mercy. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Ms. Jacqueline Bernard to introduce to us Ms. J.C. George, our speaker for today's session.
Good morning, everyone. It is with immense pleasure that I welcome our speaker for the session, Ms. J.C. George. She is a faculty member at the Department of Professional Studies, Christ University. She teaches etiquette and grooming, strategic leadership and communication, and corporate social responsibility. She is also a visiting faculty member at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and teaches business communication and personal effectiveness management at ICFI Business School. She is associated with ISRO, Infosys Campus Connect, St. Joseph's Institutions, and regularly conducts need-based programs in life skills and soft skills at various forums. Enthuse and ignite, this is what she does. A motivational speaker. She also teaches life skills for the underprivileged children at the Bangalore Community College and is a facilitator with the Talentees Light Lives program, where she works with the orphan children under the Catholic Club Orphans Trust. May God inspire her so that her words of wisdom can help our students change their perspective towards life online and start setting themselves up in a direction that assures them a brighter tomorrow. Welcome, dear ma'am. The stage is all yours.
Okay, so a very, very good morning to all you dear students, teachers, and organizers. So a very warm welcome to all of you. And today I'm going to be talking about life online, whatever that means to each one of us, because ever since March last year, when the pandemic hit us all, and we all went into a lockdown, I remember the initial excitement, including my children and myself, that, we're going to have a long holiday because schools announced that they would be shut. Workplaces announced that we need not go for work. So there was that initial euphoria and excitement that we're all going to be at home. But little did we think that this is going to be an extension and that we would have to go through this very, very long phase of staying at home. But I think we've all kind of figured it out and still trying to figure it out, some of us, on how our life has completely changed to the virtual, and we're all living most part of our day on the screen, right, with our gadgets. So I thought in today's session, I would share some insights on the good and the not so good side of being online. And I hope this session is going to enrich you to take back some learning which you're going to use in your life. Otherwise, it's not going to reach anywhere, right? So whatever little thing that you can take back for yourself, right, and implement it in your life, I think that's when we can say that this has really, translated into you and you have internalized it. I would like to start with a small poem by Helen Steiner Rice, who says, "This too shall pass. If I can endure for this minute, whatever is happening to me, no matter how heavy my heart is or how dark the moment may be, if I can remain calm and quiet with all the world crashing about me, secure in the knowledge God loves me when everyone else seems to doubt me, if I can but keep on believing what I know in my heart to be true, that darkness will fade with the morning and that this will pass away too, then nothing in life can defeat me. For as long as this knowledge remains, I can suffer whatever is happening, for I know God will break all of the chains. that are binding me tight in the darkness and trying to fill me with fear. For there is no night without dawning, and I know that my morning is near. Therefore, let's all believe that this too shall pass. And let's be hopeful that there are better days ahead of us than anything that we leave behind us. The rules of 2019, how we lived our life, don't apply to our life in the year 2021. Now, everyone's just trying to get through to the day, right? And finding out how to live each moment, right? Some of us are lost. Some of us are very clear about what we want and how to go about it. So I hope this session is going to give you some guidance on how you can improve and make things better around you. The most important thing I think that all of us need to tell ourselves and remind ourselves every day is to be a little more kinder to yourself, because being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses. This is from a book written by Charlie Mackesy, and it's a very, these very small lines which talk about life lessons, friendship, being there for each other. And I think this is something that we need to remind ourselves, to be kind to yourself. And how can you be kind to yourself? To just start loving yourself first thing, and to forgive yourself for all the mistakes you make, and to call it another day, right? I want you to take half a minute, probably even 30 seconds, and just reflect on what are you thankful for this morning? What is it that you, when you reflect right now, that you're thankful for? It can be anything, right? Because every time we express our gratitude for whatever we have and we start counting our blessings, we see that we can sail through the day. That gives us the mind and the energy to move forward. So a moment of gratitude can actually change and heal all our lives. And we could be going through n number of, issues or stress. There could be very difficult and trying times, but in that moment, for you to stop and reflect and count your blessings, nothing like starting your day and ending your day on a note of gratitude. 2 or 3 things that you could be thankful for. I'm sure by now you figured it out. Some of you may be thankful for the food on your table that was set this morning. Some of you could be thankful for this opportunity that you have listening to a session, and you have your gadget or you have your phone from which you're listening. That could be a blessing in your life when so many children don't have access to this. Some of you may be thankful for the people who are taking care of you, your parents or your grandparents or somebody, your guardians or whoever, who's taking good care of you. You could be thankful for the air that you're breathing. In this pandemic time, the virus is still around us. Maybe you're thankful for the very gift of life around you, right? Maybe you're thankful for some teachers. Maybe you're thankful for some very dear friends. It could be anything, right? So take a moment to reflect. And like I said, a moment of gratitude is the stepping stone to a positive attitude. Now, coming to living life online, I would say we live life online. When we wake up, we may, not all of us, may have the phone next to us. We look at the phone first thing in the morning. You get up, some of you at the dining table, breakfast table, you're still on your phone. Maybe you're just relaxing on the sofa, you have your phone, and then you get into your class, you're in front of the screen, finish your class, you listen to some music, you're on your gadget, because we're all stuck at home. And this is the reality that we have all been living for the last few months, right? In fact, for more than a year now, living life online. So what are some of the tips that you can take away to make it enriching, to make it meaningful, to make it useful and less destructive, is what we're going to learn in today's session. I have a question for you. You went without school for a year, correct? You were not allowed to enter school. You couldn't walk out of your home. You were homebound. You went without school for a year. Can you go without your phone or a gadget for the next 1 year? I know what your answers are. You would do anything to get to school. So you might even throw away that phone and say, if I can get 1 year of school, I just don't want my gadget, right? Because you miss school so much. Those chats you had on the corridor, those canteen moments, those times on the playground, right? So much that we are missing out on, right? But on the flip side of it, if you look at it, not having school has brought us all to a phase where we are at home, inside a room with our phone or our laptop and the gadget and living our life online, right? What would happen if you didn't have your cell phone? You don't know what time it is. We don't have clocks in our homes these days. Very few homes have clocks. We all have it on our phones or on the system, right? We rarely look at the wall. You need math to solve a math question. We quickly pull out the calculator, right? You don't remember. I don't know how many of you know your own phone number sometimes. It can be confusing. Yes, right? Unless you are familiar with it. Some of us don't even know our own mobile numbers. Let's admit it, right? You may not, some of us would not be in track of the day because weekends are like weekdays, weekdays are like weekends, and then you pull out your phone to know the date. You won't be able to text your friend when you reach their home to let them know that you're outside. You need to take snapshots at a picture perfect moment, right? Those selfies and those, candid photographs, right? You need a phone or a gadget. You need to be able to wake up from an alarm in the morning. How many of you have your parents or mothers coming and yelling at you in the morning? Some of you are so responsible that you just set your alarm, but your phone wakes you up. And most of us use the phone to find your way in the dark, right? We use the torch on the phone. Multiple uses, right? Your life wouldn't happen without a phone. But let's see how wisely we can use it. Question for you, on an average, how much time do you spend? How many hours in a 24-hour schedule? How many hours would you spend on your phone or on your gadget? Arukya sir, I'm not sure if the students can keen their answers, and if some of them have given answers, you can just read it out to me. My question is, on an average, how many hours in a day, in a 24-hour daily schedule, do you spend on your phone or gadget? Can anybody put in your answers in the chat box if that's possible?
Some say 10 hours per day.
Okay.
Some say 3 hours, some 4 hours, some 6 hours.
Okay, so we have different numbers. 10, I think the one, okay. Let's admit it. Let's be very honest about it, because we are not going to pull you up and say you spend 10 hours, 12 hours on the phone and how can you do this? Because that's the reality. Let's admit it. 10 hours could be very realistic, right? If you're spending 2 to 3 hours, very good. You have great self-control and you're able to manage a lot of things otherwise, right? But if we are very honest with ourselves, we know that we spend at least minimum 8 hours, including our online classes, okay? Including because that's also screen time, right? Apart from that, how many hours could you be spending? You could be gaming, you could be doing a lot of things, but on an average, we would actually be spending more than 16, on the outer limit, because if you actually calculate the number of hours you sleep, again, a big question, how many hours of sleep do you get in the night? 4 hours, 5 hours? If you get 8 hours, well and good. And if you're getting 8 hours consistently over a period of 1 week, which is good enough for you, okay? But if you're not getting your 8 hours and you're sleeping only 4 hours, 5 hours on an average, and you're spending the rest of the time on the phone, it means that you're actually spending more than 15 hours. More than 15 hours or up to 15 hours, all right? Unless you're using that time to do off-screen activities, which I think is very rare because we're not allowed to step out completely even now. But let's be honest about it. At least 10 to 15 hours on an average is what we spend on a phone or a gadget, including the lessons that we do for our school and classes. Right, so what do you do on your phone or on your gadget? You have your online classes, you use it for texting your friends, you play games. That's another thing. Yes, that's another reality. You play a lot of games, and even while classes are going on, you could be playing games. For all you know, right now, while you're listening to me, you could be chatting with your friend, all right, on the side. You could be playing a game with your friend, right? You could be checking your social media. You could be watching online videos like YouTube, FB Insta Reels, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, which is what takes the chunk of our day, right? Because we are connected online. So what I'm going to focus today is life online, and I'm going to go into the positives of having a life online. I'm not here to lecture you and tell you it's bad and cut down your screen time. And of course, it has its plus and it has its negative. So I'm going to touch upon both, because if you use your online time wisely, you are learning, you are upskilling yourself, you are getting better with something if you're using it wisely. All right, there's no harm, provided you know how to manage your time and how to manage what you're doing online. Then I think you're on the right track. All right, you won't have your parents, you won't have any police controlling people around you to tell you to stop doing that, because if they think that you're using it wisely, who would stop you? And if they see that you're changing for the better, who would want to restrict you? But there are certain do's and don'ts, and if you put those practices in place, you are good to go. Okay, so I want to share with you what are the positives. What's good about social media? Most importantly, it helps you stay connected with friends and family, provided you are in touch with your family also. And when I say family, it can be your cousins, it can be your relatives, it can be your grandparents. When was the last time you spoke to them? And probably they're not living with you, but they're staying far away or in another place. But did you use your social media or your phone to connect with your family members? I have a question mark there, right? Or do you do it only when your parent nudges you? Why should they come and tell you to do that? So please make use of your phone to connect with your family first. And of course, friends, you're doing that every day. So I don't have to tell you, right? Maybe there are some friends who are not in your gang or who are in your circle and who are silent. Let's say one of your friends is absent for a week, okay, and nobody knows what's the reason. Why can't you just make a call and find out how that friend of yours is doing, your classmate? That shows your kind-heartedness and your, large-heartedness. So please use that to connect to friends that you're not daily connected with, all right? Social media also helps us to volunteer or get involved with the campaign, non-profit or charity. Nobody says that you're too young to do anything. If you love animals, get into a group which is working for the cause of animals and contribute in some way, right? What if somebody is talking about, some event for some, visually impaired children, and you're a good singer? Why don't you volunteer to sing for those children? All right. Nobody is stopping you from doing anything good as long as you're helping and benefiting others. Social media, online platform can also be used to enhance your creativity, to share ideas, music, and art. If you paint, share it with friends or share it with people or share it on platforms which appreciate and recognize that. If you're into music, or some of you may already be having your music lessons online, and you could be having a concert online, you could be having a performance online. What's stopping you from doing that? All right. Or you just want to record your own song, or maybe you sang a song and you want to just upload it on YouTube, right? With, of course, parental permission. And if you believe and trust in yourself that you are good at something, don't hesitate to use the online platform to showcase that talent or that skill or that ability. All right. You must use social media to meet and interact with others who share similar interests. Like I said, it can be music, it can be art. Maybe some of you are into poetry, some of you are into science, some of you are into, it can be anything, right? Like I said earlier, maybe y'all are animal lovers. So interact with people, get connected, all right? But while you're meeting, also ensure that it's a safe site, it's a safe connect, all right? Because a lot of things, dangerous things can also happen, which I will be talking about. So that's important. Communicate with educators and fellow students. In school, you talk to your teachers, you trouble them enough. You do that online also. But what I'm saying is there's always the personal connect. But what's stopping you from staying back after a class and just connecting with your teacher or with your classmate and having some fun time, 5 minutes after the class, if you're allowed and if you have that time? why can't you connect? Or, reach out to your teachers at some point and just tell them that you have an issue, or you want to talk to them about something, or something exciting happened and you want to share that excitement, because you can't see them face to face, right? But at least you can be connected online, and that keeps the relationship going. All right. So please do not hesitate. And I'm sure any teacher would love, because I'm a teacher myself, any teacher would love a student reaching out to them after the class, provided it's not after 8 or 10 in the night, right? And troubling them with unnecessary forwards. That's not what I mean by reaching out. Calling out or sending a message and asking for some help, or asking or sharing some happy moment with them. And I'm sure teachers will definitely respond. And that is the way you can show your respect and your, to still be connected with the teachers and people around you. Virtual communities can help your teens to feel supported and connected with like-minded groups. Social media can be used to create a positive digital footprint and search results. All right. We'll be talking about the negatives later, but you can also use Google platform or Google search or anything for information, for increasing your knowledge. Maybe you have a project that has been given by your teacher and you can access it, and you can visit some groups, you can visit some website which will help you learn better. Okay, so that's the positive side of the media, the internet, the social side, the social media, right? Social media also helps you develop critical thinking skills, which is one of the most important skills that companies are looking for in people these days. Companies, and you need people to think critically. What is thinking critically? Analyzing, logically reasoning out things, right? So this is important. Social media increases impact and knowledge of world events. How many of you are aware of world news? What is the news headline today? Anybody? What is a news headline today? I do not know if you read the morning newspaper or you follow the news on the television, but get into the habit of doing that. That's what media is for. Those are the positive things you need to learn and derive from media, right? Rather than wasting our time on other things, use that little time to build your knowledge, to build your awareness, to think critically, to understand what's happening in the world around you, world events, all right? Students can also utilize social media to spread social awareness and kindness. Like I said, maybe you started an initiative and you want to reach out to other people also. Maybe a donation drive, a charity drive that you did for yourself, or you're part of some organization or something, right? So, or maybe your family got together and you're raising funds for a good cause. All right. So why can't you do something like that and use social media for that? Students can use social media to connect with family members, use technology to form study groups. You can have your own group study, combined study, and sometimes it really works. And let me tell you from my experience of my younger son who's in the 9th standard. So they have these small study groups. That's before the exams. They have fun, but I also see them studying because, I'm around in the house sometimes and I know what they're discussing. So it really helps, group study. And not a big group of like 20, 30 of you will never work. Maybe your closest group of friends, like 4 or 5 of you, pick up a topic and probably half an hour or something spend together discussing the points so that you learn better. It's actually a good way to learn also. But make sure that you don't spend half an hour studying and 2 hours chit-chatting and wasting your time, especially during exams, right? Use it wisely. Social media offers students a way to stay in touch with friends if they move away to other places. Now, coming to who's a super student, I'm just going to quickly run through a few points, but this will help you understand whether it's an online class or an offline class, this is what you need to be, right? Because we're talking about online education and why it's important to be a self-starter. Don't wait for anybody to tell you to do something. Start the initiative yourself. Be responsible. Okay, when we say responsible, you don't have to be told what has to be done. Your mother or father or somebody need not sit next to you while you're studying. They should be able to trust you to do your work. All right. So take responsibility and prove it to them that you can do it. Okay. That trust factor is very, very important. Have cordial relations with people around you, family, people around, which includes your neighbors, your classmates, and even, like I said, there will be those few students who are not in touch with. Reach out to them, connect with them, and be a good friend for them. Okay. Discipline is not about having a neat bed or a neat table. Discipline is also about the words that come out of your mouth. So these are super students. Please understand, super students are not ones who get first rank, second rank. Of course, with all respect and due credit, they deserve an applause. But a super student is also one who has these traits and these characters and these, skills about having these skills which make them super students. To be responsible, to have a sense of respect for one another, to be committed in whatever you do, dedication. I told you to be a critical thinker. Always question things. Why is this happening like this? Why can't I do it this way? What if I choose that? Think. Always question. Okay, why, what, where, when, who, how. All right, and that makes you really bring out a lot of your creativity and innovation, and makes you an analyzer. Be an independent learner, right? If you find something interesting that you like, learn and read more about it, explore. Okay, be an independent learner. It may not be part of your syllabus, but do that extra step to learn something, and everything is available online, right? Be curious to know a lot of things. Like I said, questioning mind all the time. Keep yourselves updated. Okay, like I asked you this question, what is today's news? Why is it that you do not know? Keep yourself updated. Okay, what are the next sports event that is coming up? Okay, when is the vaccine going to be released for the under 18? Keep yourself abreast with what's happening around you, and that is going to make you a super student. Please ask relevant questions. Get involved in extracurricular activities apart from your academic alone, and most importantly, to maintain a positive attitude. Now, coming to a tech solution plate, what we call a balanced tech diet. People have been talking about physical, eating good food, sleeping well, exercising, the physical aspect. What about the technical aspect of taking care of our lives, which is so important, right? Most importantly, it's about this. Do not have a toxic online life. When I say toxic, something which is very addictive, cigarettes, smoking, drinking, drugs, and other things make you very, very addicted, which means that, those things start controlling your mind. Over a period of time, if you don't control your online presence and your online management of your screen time and other things, that's going to take control of your life, and that can lead to a lot of stress. It can lead to, sometimes your connect on the net can lead to bullying. You'll start comparing yourself with others, and you feel that you're inadequate. That makes you very insecure. Okay, so don't ever compare. You are good just the way you are. Okay, you're valuable, you're unique, you're special just the way you are. So don't try to become somebody else. Okay, just accept yourself for who you are and love yourself. That's the kindest thing that you can do for yourself. Addiction. Okay, see that you don't spend more than a certain time on online, maybe in a game or something which can take away your time, and over a period of time it starts affecting you mentally. So that is a toxicity. It's like poison inside your mind, inside your body, which starts controlling and taking over all good things. All right, so what you need to do, limit and monitor your junk tech. All right, unnecessary things. If you spend too much time on Instagram, cut it down. If you're spending too much time on YouTube, cut it down. And your parents don't have to do that for you. You must take responsibility for it and tell yourself, right? I want to, it's better to restrict yourself than having your parents or somebody confiscate your phone for a few days, right? That's even more difficult. So if you're able to be responsible and use your time wisely to play a game or to watch something, then everybody knows that you are able to manage and you can take charge of your own life. All right. So please take responsibility and prove it to them that you are capable of managing yourself. And when they see that over a period of time, they'll trust you with anything. All right, but rather than that, you hide and you download games without their knowledge, and when you get caught, then you don't get any of these privileges, right? So monitor your own self, limit your own time, and don't go get into mindless entertainment, gaming, and social media. If you see the pie diagram, you know, the tech part is very small. The rest of the time, what can you do? Self-care, which means exercising, playing physical games. All right. If you have a terrace, if you have a playground, if you're allowed to go out, please go and use the time outdoors. Very, very important, right? Sleep is very important, I told you, and to be mindful of everything around you. When we say mindful, even like the food on your plate, not to waste it. If you see somebody in need, share your, donate a pair of your clothes or something to somebody, right? That's mindfulness. Appreciate what is around you, what people do for you, right? So that is mindfulness. Connect with everything around you, basically your family, your friends, your community, everything, everybody around you. Create, that's another way to have a balanced tech diet, as we call it. Graphic designing, some of you may be good photographers, taking good pictures with your phone, get into music, coding, innovation, all right? So these are ways in which you can use your time wisely and proactively and not get completely hooked onto the online world. So let's look at some of these things on how online is helping us, and towards the end, as I said, how it's not helping us, all right? Now, some points to keep in mind because of the switch to remote learning. Most importantly, I know some of you, if you have an 8 o'clock class, you would get up at 7:58, okay, with your hair standing up like that, and you have all those things from your sleep, and you don't even wash your face sometimes because maybe you're not asked to switch on your camera. But please get into the habit of waking up at least, I would say, at least 15 to 20 minutes and make it a practice. For those of you who wake up early and are ready for your class, good job, all right? But important, get up, get dressed, be ready for your class just like you would on a regular school day when you have to go to school, right? Create a workspace for yourself, whether it's your study table, whether it's your bed, whether it's somewhere in the house, one corner, one place, which is to be your regular study place, right? Try to create a fixed place so that you don't have to keep shifting and changing your things, all right? Establish a routine, all right? Maybe you'll have morning hours, then afternoon, this is what I want to do, evening, this is what I want to do, and in the night, maybe so much time I'm going to spend on this, and have a kind of a routine in place. Set boundaries. When classes are going on, self-control, self-regulation, as I would call it, keep your phone away. It really serves the purpose. And you'll see, why? Because one thing, let's understand, whether it's online or offline, exams are here to stay. You will have your exam. You will be getting marks. You will be getting your grades. Based on your grades, you'll get admission. If you want to come back to Joseph's, you need to have good grades. If you want to go to another school or college, you need grades. So let's accept it. We all need to get grades, of course, to build our future. Okay, so you realize at some point that all your time was wasted for unnecessary things. But if you can channelize that into something positive, into something creative, you are learning and becoming a better version of yourself. So please set boundaries. Let me ask you, if you sit down to watch a movie or something, would you be distracted with your phone and chat messages or a game then? No, you wouldn't. You would concentrate on the movie. Or if you're playing a game, you would not be doing something else, right? Your focus is on it. Then why is it when we sit down to study, we're not able to give full attention? And let me tell you, the best way to learn is by listening. It's not by reading. When you listen, for some of us, when we listen, we understand a lot of things. For some of us, we listen, but when we read the same thing, we learn better. Okay. Some of us, we learn by listening. Some of us learn by reading. Some of us learn by writing it down. Okay. You remember better. Then when you reread it, you tend to internalize whatever you have heard or read or written down. That's the correct process of learning. What most of us do, we don't concentrate when online classes are going on. Okay, that means like it's double the work for you when you have to sit down for a test because you don't know what's happened, what ma'am explained, and you'll have to do, which means it's taking more of your time. So the good and ideal thing is just listen, focus, and keep a book next to you, make down short notes. Read through them a little later, and that will help you remember. And at the time of the exams, believe me, trust me, all you have to do is just go back to these notes, and a little bit of reference from your text or something will help you remember. But if you don't have the basics in place, you're going to just stress yourself out. Okay, so set boundaries, turn off all your distractions, whether it's the television in the next room, or whether it's your Instagram which is popping up, or whether it's, you know, your something, any distraction. Maybe it's your dog that is asking for your attention. Keep away and stay out of all distractions when you have to sit down to learn. Okay, take breaks, very necessary. So there's this rule called 20-20-20. Okay, so what they say is, after every 20 minutes of watching a screen, just close your eyes for 20 seconds, okay, at least, and then watch or continue watching, okay? And once in a while, after 20 minutes, try, 20 seconds you can take. Another suggestion and a tip would be, try to focus on things around you which are 20 feet away. Instead of looking at the screen and staring at the screen all the time, look at objects around you which are at least 20 feet away. That's like an exercise for your eye to keep your eyes away from the screen, all right? So that's important. Take breaks, ask questions, and know that it's okay to feel anxious. If you're stressed about online learning, please tell your parents or somebody, maybe your teacher at some point, if you're really feeling anxious, all right? And if something is bothering you, but don't take advantage of your teachers and other people and fool them, right? I think that's not done. But if you really feel something, be honest and open about it. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So online learning is also about educating yourself. Having a dedicated workspace, I told you that. Take the same lessons in the same place, because that will help you, stay focused. And let also people in the home know when you have class and what time, so that they won't come and disturb you or distract you. That's important. Stay on track. Okay. What is the expectation from each teacher for each subject? What are the assignments? Have you forgotten anything? Have you delayed some assignments? So keep in touch with your friends and be connected of what's happening. Check your email or your what, if you have a Google Classroom page or whatever you have platform, to know if there is anything pending from your side. Okay, make sure before you sit for your class your Wi-Fi is steady, especially at the time of your exam, so that there is no disturbance. Make sure you have a good connection. I know we have all challenges with that, but at least at the time of exams or an important day or lesson, ensure that you have good connectivity. What are the other requirements? If something goes wrong, what is the standby that you have? Okay. Connect with your learning community, which is nothing but your teachers, your close friends, your peer groups, okay? Because that can make learning effective and interesting. Reach out to your teachers if you have any questions or doubt. Like I said, create a routine for yourself. 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock school classes, 1 to 3, just stay off the screen and, just roam around, walk up and down, or do something else other than spending time in front of a screen. Have a morning ritual like, getting up early, having a breakfast and sitting for your class, maybe a small exercise regime built into your system. All right. So these are things to help you establish a routine. Most importantly, stay positive. Remember, you're not alone in this crisis, and it's not going to be like this forever. We've had Spanish flus, we've had wars and everything, and we've all survived. So let's believe and hope that we're all going to be survivors. And unless you tell yourself that you're going to stay positive, nobody else can make you feel positive. So remember, it's not going to be this way forever. Get your beauty sleep. Boys also need beauty sleep, right? You need to be healthy, you need to be active, you need to be alert, you need to be focused. So you also need your sleep. So give yourself, like I said, be kind to yourself. Give yourself at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Okay, do not stop learning. When I say learning, I'm not talking only about your academics, anything that you can learn online. Learn to meditate, a time of prayer, whether before the class, after the class, in the evening. Spend about 5 minutes at least, okay, genuinely, okay, in prayer or any kind of meditation, which will actually calm your mind. Okay, practice gratefulness. not only telling yourself, but also telling people around you, thank you for something and appreciate them for what they do. Okay. Get moving and work out your muscles, exercise, jump in front of, in your room, or dance, put on some music and dance, or go kick the ball on the wall, or, do something to make yourself feel. If you have stairs at home, climb the stairs 10 times up and down. People might think you're mad, but doesn't matter. You need exercise, physical activity to keep your mind stable. Pick up any hobby, stay connected to friends and family, and get into the habit of writing if you can. All right. Coming to online learning. So we focused on academic side so far, like, the ways in which we can be focused and, brush up with our lessons online, and how to be connected and how to better ourselves. I'm going to talk about online learning now. These are some of the video conferencing tools that we use. Okay, so let's say Joseph's uses, Microsoft Teams for all their classes. Do you know how to start a Zoom meeting? Do you know how to start a Google Meet? Do you know how to get connected on Cisco WebEx? Explore. Please explore, even if it is not something that is required. This is the way you will learn, okay? And let me tell you from my experience, last year when the pandemic started, when the lockdown started, I had online classes and I had never used Zoom or anything, any of these platforms in my life ever. So I told my boys to sit in the other room, and I sat in the a little away from them where I couldn't see them. And I said, I'm going to schedule a meeting. Just wanted to do a demo with them. So I have two boys, and I scheduled a meeting, and they came online on their system from the other room. And believe me, I only spent 5 minutes trying to be the teacher, and they were trying to be my students, and they bullied me so much from the other side, and I ended up crying. I'm not exaggerating. I ended up crying because I was so nervous. I didn't know what were the features on Zoom. They kept annotating and they kept unmuting and saying all kinds of things to tease me and everything. And I got so upset that I walked up from my place, went to the room, and I cried. And I said, how could you do this to me? Like, you're making me so nervous. And you know what they said? Mama, we just wanted to give you a feel of what it's going to be like when you actually do it in class tomorrow. Students can do anything. Teachers need to be prepared. And this is how you will learn. And we wanted to give the worst of it so that you'll be prepared if something like this happens actually. And I just hugged both of them. And, I was very overwhelmed with what they did. Actually, they were having fun, but they also had a lesson for me that unless I prepare myself, I cannot be I won't be able to handle it, right? So what I took it as a challenge. Now, today, if you ask me, in different colleges and institutions that I'm associated with, I'm using each of these platforms. So I'm very comfortable with Zoom, Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. I won't say I'm perfect. I still do make mistakes, but I'm very comfortable and I'm familiar with that. How did I do it? I figured it out. When I don't know something, I reach out, I read up, I ask somebody, I ask my children, and they also help me. So please don't wait for somebody to come and tell you, learn this, learn that. Take it upon yourself. Be curious. Take the initiative. Be a self-starter. This is what I mean when I say super student. All right. So try and explore these platforms and learn, and do some demo with your close friends or your family, and they will also learn, you will also learn. So there are these online platforms which are available these days: Coursera, Byju, Simply Learn, Topper, Khan Academy, Udemy, Skillshare, and others. So you can probably explore some of these. Of course, some of them require payments, but some of the courses in some of these platforms are also free. See something that you like, okay, and get a certification. I know so many students, okay, don't think you're only in 7th and 8th. It's too young for you. Who said it's too young? There are children who are coding at a very young age. There are children who are doing excellent artwork at a very young age. There are kids who know so much about the history of the world at your age. They know so much about science, geography. What's stopping you? Do small courses online, at the end of which you get a certification. And these will really, really help you, not only for learning, but as you move on for college admissions, school admissions, these are all going to be add-ons. So don't restrict yourself. get it to some of these platforms and learn, okay, something. If it's not academic, there are a lot of non-academic things also that will help you, maybe a language that you want to learn, okay. Why can't you? What's stopping you? Okay, so that's important. So as we see, online learning will help us into a lot of these things. Online skills makes you tech savvy, coding, cooking and baking. A lot of you, I'm sure, even boys, my son also started making brownies and all those things. But yes, I know a lot of young kids who are very enthusiastically into cooking and baking, and they enjoy doing that. Art, dance, okay, music, fitness, solving puzzles. I think there are these group games. I forget the name. I think it's Pictionary or something, which my younger son plays with his friends. Like after class, the first thing they do is they all come online and they're playing this game. I think it's Pictionary or some kind of a word building game, something. And he has a lot of fun. Or sometimes in the evening around for about 1.5 hours, they all come together and they play this game, which actually is fun. And you also learn and, upskill yourself. Many of you I know would be already into editing, creating videos, uploading, and learning the nuances of it. So that's important. Use these platforms not only for connecting, but to also learn things, right? So I don't have to tell you what each of these are,
Sure.
what is negative impact of life online? So this is the real danger. So we've been talking so far about the plus side of, being online and how it's going to enable us and build us and empower us and everything, enrich us and everything, right? But on the other side, what are the health issues related to being online for too long? The most important things are physical ailments and health issues. We can have headaches, neck and shoulder pain, tailbone pain, eye strain, dry or irritated eyes, reduced attention span, poor behavior, irritability, sleeplessness, and dizziness. I was talking to a friend recently who told me that her son had to be rushed to the hospital because he had blackouts. Okay, recently experienced blackouts. And when he had to undergo, I'm not exaggerating, he had to undergo a series of medical tests to rule out any other problems, and finally even taken to a cardiologist because there was erratic blood pressure. And I'm talking about a young boy, all right, maybe your age. I think he's in the 8th standard. And on probing, finally, this was the doctor's report, said you have to make lifestyle changes. And when they started interacting with this young boy, they realized that he's spending too much time online. Too much time. I'm not saying only gaming, but chatting, sitting up in the night, erratic sleep patterns. And this is the only advice, no medication. Thank God, no medication on him. But this is what the doctor said: change your lifestyle, which means reduce your screen time. And the mother says that the child has really made parents and the child have made efforts and completely changed the whole routine and pattern, and the child feels better now. So when the child gets up from the bed, he was fainting. And this is when when traced, it led to this thing of too much of screen time. So this is a reality, and let's accept it, that if you're going to spend too much time, you're also in for this. All right, there's something called as blue light. I do not know how many of you have the habit of, while lying in your bed, switch off all the lights and you're staring into your phone screen or your laptop screen. All right, very, very unhealthy and dangerous for your body and your eyes as well. So basically, the LED screens of computers and portable digital devices emit a kind of a visible light. And this light, is what is called as the blue light. Because it has shorter wavelengths and higher energy than any other visible light rays, some of these blue light, some bands of this blue light can be really harmful to the light sensitive retina of your eye. And it actually upsets your sleep patterns. Okay, your body rhythm, what we call, right? It upsets it. So please do not look into your phone, and keep it away at least half an hour away when you are in bed. Okay, don't stare into your screen while going to sleep. It is going to affect not only your eyes, but also your body cycle and rhythm as well. And that affects everything else about you. Recent, again, this is not to do with eyes, but this is something to do with ears. Do you feel sensation of humming sound, crackling noise in your ears, ringing sound or buzzing sound? It's called tinnitus, all right? This syndrome is called tinnitus, and most of us experience it. So a friend of mine who's an ENT sent a forward the other day saying that ideally keep away your earphone and headphone if you have a daily class, and try to use the audio system without plugging in these earphones and headphones, which is the ideal way of listening to a class. Provided you can keep all noise distractions away, use it, and put the volume in middle and below the danger level. Most of us listen to music, listen to our classes in high volume, right? But that over a period of time can cause ear infections and ear illnesses, okay? So coming to social media, the use, misuse, and abuse, you know what I'm going to talk about. And this is where most of us are stuck, and we need to pull ourselves up and, in a way, I think, I won't say the word punish ourselves, discipline ourselves to make some changes in this area. Because according to the World Health Organization, in June 2018, WHO has declared gaming addiction as a mental health disorder. So if you continue playing over a period of time and it starts affecting your brain and your mind and your daily activities and your social interaction, you are a mentally unhealthy or mentally ill patient, okay? And you need treatment. This is no joke. There are already, centers in Bangalore, and they have a lot of cases of children coming in with this mental health disorder because of gaming. So you should know where to draw your line before it gets too late. Gaming disorder is when that you don't talk to people, you don't want to eat food, you don't want to go to the loo. There are cases when some kids are so addicted that they, I read about it in China, that they use they use diapers because they don't want to get up and, go to the loo. They lose that time, right? So they're so addicted and so involved in this online thing, and that really is the extreme. Okay, and it leads to a lot of other negative consequences. What can gaming addiction do? It starts controlling your mind, okay, and too much of it, you start losing interest in other things. It becomes the most dominant activity in your life. Everything revolves around the gaming world. You have a talk with your friends, it's about games. You talk to your parents, of course, you'll get, caught, you'll be shouted at for that. But this has become the reality that most kids are revolving around the gaming world. Okay, and however hard you try, you're not able to put a pause, you're not able to restrict yourself, and slowly what happens is you start cheating also on yourself and on your parents, right? And you get in touch with people who are strangers, and then that can be another issue altogether. It's like, opening another box of worms, right? So be very, very careful and be responsible. Nobody is telling you not to play, but how much time you can put aside for gaming is in your hands. And it's important that you are aware of the dangers associated with this. All right. Many such people over a period of time would have underlying problems like depression, bipolar disorder, or autism. Autism is, your social activity decreases and you get into a shell all by yourself, and, so many consequences. Look at this slide which says, dude, you might want to stop for a bit, one more level, and look at the state of that poor kid, I would say, right? Skeleton, right? The impact of gaming to the extent. I know another, when I visit another friend's home, her oldest son, who's around 25 years old, sitting right in the front, right in the, middle of the living room on a table and playing. But she tells me, she's cried and told me that, he's an addict, and they try their best to keep him away from that. And that time that he gets, they make sure that he sits there and plays for that little time, because after a point you can't control, but it starts affecting your mind and your thinking, all right, and your bodily actions as well. So what does it lead to? Insomnia, which is lack of sleep. Too much of gaming, sitting in one position continuously, causes you to slouch. Muscular degeneration. Carpal tunnel syndrome is, your nerves, your fingers start tingling, those sensations, you start losing those sensations around your fingers, and it affects your nerves. long tattered nails. Have you seen people, they don't take care of themselves, no self-care, so it affects their body, and even their nails start chipping off and it looks very unhealthy. Poor vision and dry eyes. Burger tash is like, you have these rashes around your chin and thing. Weight fluctuation. Failure to attend to personal hygiene. You don't take care of yourself. So people who come near you will have to walk away from you because you don't smell good. Okay, and why you don't smell good? Because you don't have time to clean your hair, you don't have time to have a good bath or wash, you don't wash your face, and you don't brush your teeth. You're so engrossed in the world of gaming. I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction, the world will have a generation of idiots. I only pray and hope this is not what we are in for, right? Attributed to Einstein, but is actually an altered version of lines from the movie Powder, okay? What's bad about social media? Addiction, all right? Because according to Royal Society for Public Health, social media addiction has been described more addictive than cigarettes or alcohol, and is now so entrenched in the lives of young people that it is no longer possible to ignore it when talking about young people's mental health issues. I read some statistics recently which says 7 out of 10 Indians are prone to mental health issues, which means probably you and I are also in that. Not a good sign. Especially after the lockdown and pandemic, people are becoming more and more depressed, more and more isolated. Okay, cyberbullying is something that you need to be careful about. It's when a student uses the internet, cell phone, or other technological devices to send or post text or images intended, deliberately done to hurt, embarrass, threaten, torment, humiliate, or intimidate another person who becomes the victim. I'm sure you would have heard about boys' locker room. Many cases where students have given up their lives because they were bullied. And this is not a good thing. Please do not fall into peer pressure of bullying another child in your class or in the other class or somewhere, right? And this can be very, very dangerous because if the law catches you, you're in trouble. Okay, anything illegal, cyberbullying is illegal. So if you are in the loop, please stay out of it. Tell your friends you're not for it. You can do anything apart from this, right? But not cyberbullying, okay? And you may have lots of fun trying to tease and bully somebody else, but over a period of time, don't forget you're damaging and you're setting yourself in trouble more than putting the other one in trouble and having fun over that. Effects of cyberbullying, it can lead to anger within a person, isolation, depression, illness, and also some victim who feels humiliated. According to the latest statistics, a survey done recently by the Delhi National Capital Region, 9.2% of 630 adolescents had experienced cyberbullying, and half of them had not reported it to teachers, guardians, or social media companies concerned, according to a study done by CRY. Okay, if you are in trouble, please at least tell your friend. Recently, my son's, one of his friends, so he's studying in a co-ed school, and one of his friends, a girl, was in trouble. Somebody was cyberbullying her, and she was afraid to tell her mother. So she asked my son, can I talk to your mother? I said, I'm very much willing to talk to her. And she actually reached out to me and I advised her and I told her what the best thing to do because she didn't feel comfortable and safe talking to her parents. It's okay. Sometimes parents can react. But if there's an elder that you can trust, maybe your friend's mother or your aunt or a cousin or somebody elder to you or your teacher, please reach out to them. Don't worry about anything. They will all support you and stand by you and help you come out of it, right? So don't hesitate to do that. But if you feel you're being bullied or if you feel somebody is harassing you online, reach out to somebody so that we can put a stop there, okay? And don't think that you're doing something bad. It is possible that you can be in a trap. Some of the victims of cyberbullying, look at them. Ben McKenzie, 13 years, Sarah Walker, 17 years. They were all victims of cyberbullying and they gave up their life, right? Because they couldn't tolerate cyberbullying. Cyber predators, be very careful. They are sexual and other predators who stalk children online. and they use fake names, fake identities to connect with you. So please do not connect with anybody you do not know, even if it is for one day of gaming fun or whatever. Okay, not a good thing. They'll stalk you. They can do a lot of things these days. There are a lot of softwares, and they can, take information from your parents' laptop and, your account details. Please do not trust any of these people that you are not familiar with. Okay, and that can lead to very dangerous outcomes. Phishing is something where people use emails and try to trick people by sending them fake emails or attachments, and you fall into that, you open it, but there could be some trouble in there. Malware is a computer software that is installed without the permission of the victim, and it performs harmful actions on your computer again. You might a pop-up may come up and you might accept it, but that could be a virus or a malware which is going to eat up all your information and pass it on to somebody or destroy your system itself. So please do not fall prey to this. It steals information, it hijacks information, and it also slows down your computer. Okay, so these are things to keep in mind. Do not post private and personal information anywhere on social media. Because there is no delete key. Once it's out of your hand, it's out, okay? And anybody can use it against you. So do not post any personal information, photographs which you think might put you in danger or trouble, okay? You might do it for the fun of it, but it can again have legal implications. So be very careful about the dangers of internet. Stranger danger, I told you. Do not trust people that you don't know. And oversharing. This is another common problem faced. Don't say which school you go to publicly. Talk among your friends and have private chat groups. So this is another danger. Don't follow everybody you think is cool. Okay, not everybody may be cool. It must be a fake that identity that they have created. And don't accept every request that comes from any person and then feel very cool about yourself. Say, I have 1,200 followers on Instagram. Okay, careful. Okay, that's the word. Cautious. Be cautious. Okay, don't announce to the world where you're going this weekend, where you went on your family holiday, where you're going. Okay, so there have been crimes related to this, but it's for you to decide how much is good to be posted online. Pause before you post. Take your time. If you feel some urge to post something, just delay it for a few hours and then post it. Okay, don't be impulsive in posting something you might regret later. Okay, so pause before you post is a good tip for you to follow. Also, before you post something, ask yourself these questions. Am I posting anything in anger? If I do this, will someone feel disrespected? Am I revealing too much about myself by posting this? Am I showing a negative or bad side of myself? Could someone misinterpret what I'm saying? And who might be able to read this? Remember, whenever you're online, you're leaving a digital footprint, and there is a profile created in your name. Somebody is watching you, what you're doing, and where all you are, what activity you are doing, and all these things are there. All right. So most importantly, it's about respecting yourself and respecting others, to be educated, and so important is to protect yourself from all these. This is my last slide. Thank you so much for your time being online. We are learning so much, things that we continue doing and we stop doing, and we put a control over a lot of things. But most importantly, I think it's all about whatever you do, enjoying your life, building good friendships, eating well, sleeping enough, laughing often, love much. Life is not so bad after all, and this too shall pass. Thank you so much for your time, and over to your questions. If you have any, I'll take the questions which are coming in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, the first question is from a student, John M. Ma'am, I use my screen time to watch facts on YouTube. Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
So the question is, it's absolutely a good thing, but my question is also, how obsessed are you with that fact on YouTube? Do you spend 5 hours doing the same thing? which is strainful for your eyes and your body, or you just use it for some time and then I think it's the best thing you can do for yourself, but how much time is the question there? So you should be able to figure that out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
The next question is, ma'am, as we live life online, where do we draw motivation during these difficult times?
I would say first and most importantly is God, because um, there are so many things which are not in your hands. But to just start your day with a prayer and trusting God, whichever God you call out to, I think just reach out to Him and give your day to Him or her. Okay, and just say, I give my day, and that's where your first level of motivation and peace of mind should come from. The rest of it, I would say, reach out to your friends, okay, your good friends, because I think nobody can encourage you and motivate you and make you happy like your friends. Okay, so please reach out to your friends, have a few good laughs with them, and of course, if you have a very strong and supportive family around you, reach out to your family members. And there are so many forwards, I have caught my son sitting and laughing and giggling by looking at the phone. So then I'm very curious, like, hey, what is it? Like, no, some joke, some forward which came from a friend. So that's motivation, right? So those are things, provided you're connected with people and not to yourself, that's motivation good enough for you.
Thank you, ma'am. The last question is from Amish. He asks, how do we keep ourselves occupied at home after the online classes?
So you mean to say when school starts, is that the question? When offline classes start?
The online classes end by 1 o'clock, ma'am, 1 p.m.
Okay,
maximum.
I would say as soon as your online classes are over, just shut your system down, and tell your friends or make it a rule among your friends also. Okay, guys, next 2 hours, let's not connect with each other, or we'll get back by evening 3 or 4 o'clock. We'll reconnect for a game or chat or whatever. But make it a policy that you'll have that time just to stay and put your eyes away from the screen, because your eyes need rest, your body needs rest. You need to get up, you need to stretch your muscles, you need to blink your eyes, you need to drink some water, you need to go and eat something, maybe chit chat with your sibling or your parents, or do something, okay, non-screen. Don't even watch television, okay? Maybe just go put the shower on and pour cold water over your head, even do that, or spend time with your pet or anything apart from screen time for the next at least 2 to 3 hours. Believe me, or just pull out your guitar and start playing, pull out your paint and start drawing something, or you just go lie down on the bed with your eyes closed, okay, that's all, or play music somewhere, but don't look at the screen for that time. It's important. Then you do what you want later part of the day, give yourself breaks in between and get back to it, because that's the only way we can keep ourselves occupied, busy, which is also necessary for our sanity. But first thing you have to give importance to your eyes, your ears, your mind, and your body, which is very, very important. Okay. Fun and all comes a social quotient, but I think more than that is your physical health, your mental health, which is, at risk. You need to take care of that. And we don't see what's happening to our mind, but the damage is already going on inside, right? Inside your body also. You don't know what's happening inside, but one day you'll be shocked and startled that something's really wrong. So before it's too late, you take charge of your life and you set boundaries, you set rules, and decide among your friends and come to an agreement on that, so that it's going to help all of you and you're all going to enjoy life at the same time, carry the rest of the things along with the fun. Okay, there's a question, how many hours can we use our gadgets in a day? Depending on your school timing, and I think apart from your school class hours, you shouldn't use more than one, one maybe not more than 2 hours for your personal whatever after, because anyway you're watching on the screen during, if you're on a holiday, let's say a weekend, you can still extend that time. But on a regular weekday, apart from your class hours, do not use more than 2 hours on gadgets. 2 hours also would be a little high, but maybe to catch up with friends or other things, but keep yourself distracted with other things, okay? Because like I said, it's back to your eyes and your mind and your health. Yes, so there's a question here. How do you know you have an illness through cyberbullying? If you feel very stressed out, and if you feel very nervous, and if you feel, if you're having sleepless nights, if you're not able to eat because somebody is bullying you, and you feel that you're being victimized, then there is a problem. You need to talk to somebody about it. You have counselors in your school, reach out to them in confidence, or like I said, your friends, parents, or even your own parents to start with, if you're okay to talk to them about it. But you must let somebody know, even your closest friend whom you can trust, and let them know what you're going through. Okay, don't keep it to yourself, because it can really have negative connotations. All right, so please talk to somebody about it. And when you see these changes in yourself, that's when you know there is trouble. All right. Okay, somebody asked me, what is adolescence? Adolescence is the age between 13 to 19 years. Okay, it's like the period between a young childhood and when you turn into an adult, 19-20. So that phase is called adolescence. Okay. So there's one more thing you can do. Some of these telephones, I mean, mobile phones have these apps these days where you know how much screen time you've used. So try to reduce your screen time. So, nowadays when I ask my son, hey, how much time? So he says, look, I've only used 1.5 hours the entire day. So you can reduce and cut down. And it's very important that you reduce and keep coming down. And then you'll find things to do, other things. So a lot of school activities that you can get involved in, extracurricular programs and things. That is one way of keeping yourself distracted from wasting your time. And also it will help you be connected with friends and have fun in those groups also, like a MUN group or something else. You're meeting together, having meetings. All that is also learning and fun, right? Instead of not taking part in anything and using that time to play something and wasting your time. Okay, so that's how you use your time wisely. Okay, so I think that's all. Arukya sir, I'm not able to go through everything again because of lack of time, but thank you so much once again, students, for your questions, for your participation, and the organizers for inviting me, and gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for your valuable suggestions and advice. I invite Ms. Evelyn Priya to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you is the best prayer that anyone could say. It gives me great pleasure to propose a vote of thanks for today. First of all, I would like to thank our respected principal, Father Sunil Fernandez, and our primary administrator, Father Vishal D'Souza, for giving us this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful session. My heartfelt thanks to Ms. J.C. George for enlightening us about life online and for making the session so interesting and meaningful. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to extend my gratitude to our Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, our Coordinator, Mr. Brian Anthony McCurtish, and all the teachers for their constant effort in working towards the success of the program. Finally, before I end, I must say that the audience, our dear students, have been good listeners. I'm sure the session has been a fruitful one for you. Thank you and have a good day.